Hello and welcome. This video is an introduction to Michigan Tech's Math Lab. The purpose of the lab is to introduce you to the mathematical software Mathematica and to help you get a deeper understanding of calculus using this tool. The lab has two main components, an online component run from the Learning Management System and a physical component run from the Math Lab in Fisher 331. This video will be broken down into four main parts: a general introduction to Canvas, an introduction to the Math Lab course page in Canvas, a description of the physical lab room, and finally an explanation on how you can get started and download Mathematica for yourself. We'll begin with Canvas. To log into Canvas, you can either type mtu.instructure.com right into your browser, or from the Michigan Tech homepage, simply select Current Students, and select the Canvas link. After logging in with your username and information, you'll be brought to your Canvas main page, which shows some recent activity. Before looking at an actual course, there are a few Canvas features I'd like to highlight. First, if I select Settings, I come to this page. I can see here that by default, Canvas will contact me via my MTU email address. But on this page, you can also add other emails, for instance, your Gmail, Yahoo, or other email addresses. Secondly, if I select Notifications, I can adjust how and why Canvas notifies me of things. For instance, here, you can see that Canvas will notify me ASAP if there are changes to due dates in a course. However, down here, if there's a submission, I've chosen to have Canvas never notify me. So you can see that there are several different items that you can adjust. Next, we'll look at the messaging system in Canvas, which can be found right next to the Settings button. So if I select Inbox, it will bring me to this page, where I have a list of my messages on the left. If I select one of these, it will show me all the contact I've had with this individual. Now, if you want to contact your coordinator or MATLAB director, you can simply select the new message icon, and then you can either type in their name, for instance, Calc 2. I can find the Calc 2 course coordinator, or I can select this contacts icon and scroll through to find that contact. For instance, I can scroll down to the Fall Calc Lab, go to Teachers, and I'll be able to find the Calc 3 course coordinator. The next important feature is the calendar. The calendar allows you to view all the important dates from the course you chose to view. Now, for instance, here, if I scroll down on the right here, I can see the only course I am showing is the Calc 3 lab. If I also wanted to show the important dates from the Calc 2 lab, I would simply check this box. Another nice feature of the calendar is if I scroll a little farther down here, I can see the calendar feed link. This gives me the link that I'll need to sync my calendar with a Google's calendar or an iCal calendar. Now remember, this process of syncing is not instantaneous, and it will take some time to sync calendars. Now let's look at the MATLAB specific course page. To find this, simply hover over Courses and Groups and find the appropriate course page. The home page has some basic information about the course. It states the lab goals, how to get started, and what to do if you have questions. The main thing I want to emphasize in this video is how to find and complete your assignments. You can find the assignment lists under the syllabus page. Here we have a brief description of the course and also the list of assignments. If I select an assignment, I'll find a list of the goals and tasks I need to complete for this assignment. For your assignments, you will either have to complete an online quiz or perform some work in Mathematica Notebook and then submit it as a PDF file. In this assignment, I have to take a quiz. So I'll first download and read through this instructional notebook, and then I'll take this appropriate quiz. If I go to Lab 1, this is a submission assignment. For this lab, I would open this instructional notebook and read through it, and then I would open up the assignment notebook. I would complete the questions in the notebook, so I would open the cells, I would answer the questions here, answer the questions here. When I was done answering all the questions, I would save it as a PDF by going to File, Save As, and make sure I'm saving it as a PDF. Once it's saved, I can submit that PDF by clicking the Submit Assignment button. Then all I have to do is browse for the PDF and submit it. There are some important notes about submitting assignments, however. When you submit the file, your name and submission time and date is recorded. Thus, you do not need to include this information in either the name of the file or in the submission comments. In fact, due to the large number of students that the lab serves, trivial submission comments that include your name or non-essential comments can cause large problems with the lab communications. Leaving such comments will result in a 1-point deduction from your lab. Only leave important submission comments. Occasionally, students will have two other types of problems when submitting the file in Canvas. The first, the file does not properly load. This tends to be a temporary problem. You should try to submit it from a different browser or a different computer, or just wait and give it some time and try it again. If it's close to the deadline when a submission problem arises, you should email your file along with a description of the problem to your lab coordinator before the deadline. Late submissions will not be accepted. The second problem is that students accidentally submit a corrupted file. Thus, after submitting your file, you'll see this confirmation page, and you should verify that your file is submitted correctly by selecting the submission details and making sure that you can view your submission. If you look at this preview and the PDF does not display correctly, you're going to need to resubmit your assignment, and you are able to resubmit assignments up until the due date. So now that you know how to complete your lab assignments, let's look at some of the other resources. If you get stuck on a difficult lab, or if you're having trouble with Mathematica, to get help you can visit the Math Lab room, which is in Fisher Hall, room 331. Simply go to Fisher Hall, front or the back, then up to the third floor. The lab is staffed with consultants who are proficient at assisting you with your math lab needs. Remember, the consultants are not there to do your homework, but rather to give you minimal guidance while pointing you in the right direction. Now, another nice option for getting support if you're unable to physically come to the Math Lab room is to try to get online support using Google Hangouts from your Google Plus page. So how do we do that? Well, once again, from your Math Lab homepage, you can scroll down to Questions, and the second option gives you a link to your Google Plus page. It will bring you to a sign-in sheet if you're not currently signed into Google. Once you sign in with your MTU information, it will bring you to your Google Plus page. If you've never used Google Plus before, there may be a couple of in-between steps to get registered for the first time use. But once you're on your Google Plus page, this little icon over here to the right, these quotation marks, give you access to Google Hangouts. We open up that, and we want to start a new conversation with our Math Lab. So we can type in MTU Math Lab, and it's possible that this MTU Math Lab account will pre-populate. If it doesn't, however, you can type in MTU Math Lab, all one word, at mtu.edu. This is not an email that we respond to, but is the email used for this Hangout account. And you can select this contact. Now, anytime our Math Lab room is open, one of our consultants will be online logged into this account. And so you can go ahead and just type in a question here. You can say, "Hi, I am having trouble." And a consultant will respond. Now, it's one thing to try to communicate and ask a question like this, but one of the powerful tools of Google Hangouts is they also have a video chat option. So you can open a video chat just like I'm currently doing, and you can choose whether you want to display this video or actually turn off the video feed, like that. And you can actually talk to the consultant in real time, ask him his questions over the audio. Now, another nice tool, however, is you can also do a screen share. So I can actually go in here and screen share and choose maybe my Mathematica notebook that I'm having trouble with. This will open this up. Now both yourself and the consultant will be able to see this in real time. And they can say, well, this is my thing I'm having trouble with. I can't seem to get this plot to work. And the consultant will look at this and say, oh, well, the problem is that you don't have the S capitalized in sine, and you don't have the P capitalized in pi. And so then you can say, oh, well, that's all. Then I can just change those problems as a student. and rerun it and get the situation fixed. So this is something where you can actually share your notebook online in real time with the consultant who's working, and they can just give you the advice or the correction or whatever you need to get going using Google Hangouts. So we really encourage you to try to use this new tool, Google Hangouts, as another option if you can't physically get to the math lab. All right, now that you know what you have to do for the lab and you know how to get support, I'm sure you're really anxious to get started and go ahead and start working with Mathematica. Now, of course, you can go to any computer on campus and Mathematica will be installed and you can use that at your discretion. However, as an MTU student, you also have access to your own personal copy of Mathematica. So to get that, you can go to your, once again, your course main page. And there's an option to download Mathematica. And if we follow this link, or we could also type in directly into our browser downloads.it.mtu.edu. It'll bring you to a login screen where you just log in with your MTU user account. And it will bring you to the Software Distribution Center. And from here you can scroll down and see all the software that's available to you to download. And so you can see there's quite a few softwares on here, and you're welcome to explore this and download any software you're interested in. Today we're talking about Mathematica, however. When we click on that, it'll give you the version, all the information about the software, what platforms it works on, and then we'll give you information for downloading. So in this case, we would go and download the version that we need. And then there's other instructions for actually getting an activation key. So we'd have to register with Wolfram by clicking this link and following these instructions. And once we get that, we'll get our activation key, and then we can finish the installation. So just follow these instructions, and you can have Mathematica installed on your personal computer. That concludes this lab introduction video. Hopefully you've learned enough to get started with the lab. Thank you.